Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of the Catz Lair Radio Show, the broadcasting voice of Tenacious Fitness Unlimited. We are pleased to welcome another phenomenal guest, Mr. Rick Perard. He's originally from New York, and he now lives in Miami. Rick has been training for well over 42 years, listeners. He's got some great things to share with us today. We're really excited again to get him on the radio show. Rick, welcome to the show. We're doing well, Rick, and thank you again for taking time out of your schedule and getting this done with us. So the first question I have for you is, how did you get started in bodybuilding?
It was 1977. I was 14, 15 years old, and I was getting tired of being pushed around in New York because I'm a short guy. So I decided I had to take some steps. I saw this magazine talking about if you want to get built and learn, got some dumbbells with the sand dumbbells with the and the little plastic workout with the little bench. I started lifting a little bit there, and I would go watch Bruce Lee movies, and I wasn't interested in martial arts. Just take it one day at a time, and then finally I got to a gym, and I realized, wow, this is where I need to be. So by the time I turned 15, 16 years old, I was hooked on going to the gym, and I haven't stopped since.
Very
I'm glad
good.
I never stopped.
Very good, very good. What's your personal approach to competition training? So for our listeners who may not be familiar, a lot of the bodybuilders and competitors, they may train differently in the off season, and then do a different approach during the contest prep. So what would you consider to be your personal approach to competition training? How do things change up a little bit?
Yeah, but when it comes to competition training, that's when all gloves come off. That's where the diet that hurts you comes into play. That there's no more, I can cheat here. I don't believe in cheat days. I hear a lot of people like, when's my cheat day? What are you looking for a cheat day? Cheating is cheating yourself. Because somebody's eventually going to win, and it's not going to be the guy that cheated. So I'm going to be that guy and be that guy that cheats. I'm here for war because this is too hard. Like I said, this is not a team sport. There is an I in bodybuilding, and it's on you to be the best you can be. So if something goes wrong, there's really nobody to blame but yourself and maybe your trainer. But if you put all the work in, hopefully the results will come out the way you like. And if not, you gave it the best you can do. That's all you can do.
Okay.
Be prepared.
Very good. Very good. Next question I have for you is, what's your training split? How does it change up throughout? How has it changed up throughout the years or stayed the same? So training split, do you do like upper body one day, legs? Some people favor upper body in the morning, legs in the afternoon, or something like that.
For the 40-some odd years I've been training, I think I've done almost every kind of different workout. But in recent years, since I got older and I had some injuries, I had to learn how to adjust because I used to be a super, super heavy lifter. Like my 500-pound bencher, 600-pound squatter, I was always trying to lift as heavy as I could to get the size, which I did get size, but then eventually, like anybody else, Father Time takes over, and I started wear and tear on my back, on my elbows. I tore my bicep one time. I had to get that fixed. It was like, okay, how do I still compete at the level I want to compete at, but how do I train differently? So thank God I found a trainer that actually knows how to train, the older person without being injured. And what's funny is I'm actually doing bodybuilding now. Before I was doing more power bodybuilding, like moving weight, heavy weight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually like sculpting. It's a whole different philosophy, especially when you get older, and it actually works. I mean, sometimes I could take 5 pounds and do maybe 2,000 reps out of the whole set, and I felt like I just did 500 pounds.
Wow.
It's really and you're sculpting it. Blood is the key to everything. So if you get a good pump, no matter if you got it from squatting heavy or squatting nothing and doing it 500 times, 600 times, you're still going to get results because your body has to adapt to whatever you give it. So the more blood you pump in the muscles, the more your muscles will grow. It's really not about heavy weight because some powerlifters look small. Some powerlifters are skinny and they can lift the world.
Right, right.
So it's not really, they're not worried about how their physique
That's good.
Because I've been in the same rut years and years.
That's good. That's good. What about nutritional intake? So how has that changed or stayed consistent throughout the years? Do you have like?
When I was younger,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you say you kind of keep it consistent. You don't do cheat meals and stuff like that.
No, not once I'm really getting ready for shows. I don't do cheat meals. Like the off season when you're trying to get some size. Sure, of course, you can have a bison burger. Maybe some ice cream once every 2 weeks or something like that. But once you're trying to get that fat off your body and get that body fat low, and you're doing all that cardio, why are you gonna cheat? Because you're just gonna hurt yourself. You did all that cardio, you did all that work, and now you're gonna cheat. That just takes you 2 or 3 days backwards. For what? I want to be. If you're gonna do this, try to be the best. That's what you have to do, and it's a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel like you're gonna die. You're not gonna die, but that's what you feel like. And funny enough, when you feel like that, that's when you see. That's when you look the best. You don't feel at your best, but you look crazy. And that's why you need a trainer to help you. Okay, eat this carb because you're a little carb low. But that's the whole thing. You can't. It's hard to do by yourself because you're going up and down sometimes. Just try to get that body fat at where it's supposed to be. But you have to have somebody to watch you because you can slip and go too far low, and then you're messing yourself up. And you're not eating your muscle. So that's why it's good to have somebody that really knows what they're doing watching. It's not because you're an egomaniac. I can do this myself. Okay, you're sure you can. I've been doing this for my whole life. I'm sure I could do this myself too, but you can't be your own judge in everything because some things your eyes are not going to see what other people can see.
Right.
And you need somebody that's the person that somebody's going to say, "Oh, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best," because that's not going to help you either. You have to have somebody that's going to tell you, "Hey, you need to work on this, you need to work on that," and that's okay. We can get that better. That's if you really want to get to the next level. Not if you just want to have a train, that's fine. You don't have to be a competitive bodybuilder. You just go out there and exercise is great. And I would still suggest to get somebody, especially if you're a beginner, to find somebody that has some knowledge to guide you along the way, just to at least for the first couple of steps. Because just read something in a magazine. The magazine might not tell you exactly that technique, how to keep your back, how to hold the arc in your back, or keep your feet from moving. You might injure yourself. So that's why people need people to help them. It's okay. You don't have to be ashamed to say, "Hey, I need a little help." Because all of us, Phil Heaton, Ronnie Coleman, some of the great. I had the same trainer as Dexter. I had the same trainer as Flex Wheeler, and they're all great bodybuilders, but they still had somebody that was helping.
Everybody started somewhere, and I think that's definitely a message that people want to resonate and want people to hear. That not only it's good to have people in your corner, but people who really want to see you look and do well. You want to get somebody who they're not going to say yeah, knowing getting well you're not ready, or you're not really doing it correct. I've been blessed along the way to have some people who, they were like, I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to do this. I want to do this show. And they were like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. And they told me stuff. And I'll be honest, at the time, I was like, I felt some type of way, but they were right. They were right. And they said, well, if you want to do this show, you need to cut these carbs out. I still remember the conversation. I know if Damon hears this, he was one of my training buddies a couple of years back. He said, you need to cut your carbs, David. You've been, not eating right. So cut your carbs. And so it was one of my training buddies back in the day. And so I did that, and it was just stuff started coming together. It's just amazing how having a watchful eye and somebody telling you, to go ahead and do that, who's been there and who's done it and who's done it very well. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Definitely on that. It's very important. Very important.
I've been lucky. I've had a lot of good guys along the way. Like a pro bodybuilder one time, Ron Tufel. He helped me back when I was 17. And John the Fitness, he was Mr. Universe. I used to train with him a couple of times. Even with The Rock, I trained with him a little bit. Gold's Gym in South Florida.
Cool. That's what's up.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was nice.
That's what's up.
That's another thing about bodybuilding. It gets you in avenues to
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've
Everybody
trained.
can understand me.
Oh yeah, I've
No
been.
matter what walk of life where you're from, what race you are, what creed you are, what religion you are, we all can understand me and help.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you on that. I've been blessed to train with some pros too, you know. Uh, let's see, Tony Freeman, worked out with him one
Well,
time.
that's one of my friends.
Yeah,
That's
good
how
good
in Atlanta.
dude,
Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
Freeman, and
Oh yeah.
Mr. Wendell Floyd, he's a good dude, and just listen, worked out with a couple people, and Milton, worked out with him. So
Rope man.
yeah, okay, you worked out with him.
Seinfeld.
Okay, all right, cool. That's what's up. That's what's
Long
up.
time ago.
Okay, that's what's up.
Long time ago. I'm old.
It's all like it doesn't look it, man, and I can tell, I can hear the passion in your voice. You really enjoy it, and that's important to do something that you enjoy.
I get up every morning to live to go to the gym.
That's good, man. That's really good.
I'm prepared for work, but all throughout the day, I'm thinking, like, I'm going to the gym later. I got to eat this. I got to do this. I got to drink this much water. I got to
That's
stay
good.
on. I got to stay focused.
That's good. It's paying off, man.
So
Definitely. That's what's up.
It's a challenge for yourself.
That's what's
You
up.
if you can challenge yourself to do things, you don't have to be a champion, a bodybuilder, but just give yourself a little challenge every day to see if I can take one or two more steps up the stairs, or if I can just walk a little bit longer, or jog a little bit longer, just to challenge yourself. It's always going to end up being better for you
That's right.
and your psyche.
That's
You feel
right.
like you actually accomplished something. That's how I feel every day when I leave the gym. I'm tired as hell. I'm beat up, but I'm like, damn, but I did something. Even if it's in my own mind, I felt like I accomplished something.
Well, you know, and I think what gets me motivated now, I see less people, at least in my age group, in the gym. So you're starting to see younger people, and I'm having to get my mind wrapped around that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the people who are in my age group, you know, they're starting to sit down and do what they need to do, what they feel like they need to do. But I'm not quite ready yet for that.
Remember talking, most people lifted heavy as heavy they can, and then they got injured. They're like, man, I can't get out of bed. Or
Right.
your back hurts, your knees hurt. Like, I'm going to go to the gym. Come on, man. I need a massage.
Right. Or if you don't work out, you're still gonna be in pain. So you can either work out. so it's kind of like you're gonna be in pain. You're gonna be in pain one way or the other. So you know, if you do too much, you're gonna be in pain. If you don't work out, you're gonna be in pain. But if you do it right, you're gonna have longevity and feel good. So it's kind of like, you know, you make the choice.
And that's why I really push the sport. It's not just because of bodybuilding. It's just overall general health. That's why I got into nursing. I like helping people. Me personally, I love bodybuilding. I love sculpting because I can't draw, I can't paint. I'm not good with my hands with clay, but I can sculpt my body. So
Good.
that's my form of art.
Okay. Good deal. All right, so that's going to take us into our next question. What would you tell someone who's just about to give up on exercise? We're going to pause. That's going to take us into our next session of next time frame. So it's going to be, what would you tell someone who's just about to give up on exercise? So I like this question because, you know, like I said before, some people might not necessarily want to compete. They may think they might not want to compete. They may compete. It may be that you know, they're just really searching for a little inspiration. I've had people who I didn't necessarily think would listen to the podcast go up into me in the gym and say, "Dave, you still doing those radio shows?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. So you listen to that?" "Yeah, I'm listening to it. It sounds really good. I like that." So you know, a lot of times with things like that, just having that motivational word. We're gonna pause for a second, and then we're gonna come back and answer